Have you ever felt stuck? Like, no matter what you do, you're just running in circles, and nothing seems to change. If you've ever felt that way, I want to share a story with you today. It's a simple story, but its message is incredibly powerful. It's about how a small shift in our perspective, a tiny change in our mindset, can completely transform our reality. The story begins on a busy street corner in a bustling city. Every day, an old beggar would sit on a piece of cardboard, a small, worn-out tin cup placed in front of him. He was blind, and next to his cup he had a sign. The sign was written in rough, shaky letters, and it read, "I am blind. Please help." People would hurry past. Some, moved by pity, would drop a few coins into his cup. Others would glance at the sign and then quickly look away, perhaps feeling a pang of guilt or simply overwhelmed by the city's relentless pace. The sound of footsteps, chatter, and distant sirens was the soundtrack to his day, punctuated by the occasional clink of a coin. His cup was never full, but he usually collected enough to get by one day at a time. It was a monotonous, bleak existence. One sunny morning, a young woman, a marketing professional with a creative spirit, was walking to her office. She saw the old beggar as she did every day, but this time something stopped her. She looked at his sign, then at his face, etched with lines of hardship. She felt the usual surge of sympathy, but today it was mixed with something else, an idea. She approached him and said softly, "Sir, I see you here every day. I wonder if I could help you in a different way. May I change the words on your sign?" The old beggar was hesitant. This sign was his only tool, his only voice in a world he couldn't see. "Why?" he asked, his voice raspy. "Is something wrong with it?" "No, not at all," she replied gently. "But I think I can write something that might help you more. If it doesn't work, you can always change it back tomorrow." After a moment of thought, the beggar nodded. He had nothing to lose. The woman took a marker from her bag, flipped his cardboard sign over, and wrote a new sentence. She placed it back beside his tin cup, smiled at him, and continued on her way to work. It wasn't just a few coins here and there. People were stopping, reading the sign, and generously filling his cup. Some dropped in bills. Others paused to speak a kind word. The old beggar was astonished. The weight of the coins in his cup felt heavier than it ever had before. He could feel the difference, not just in the money, but in the energy of the people around him. By the end of the day, his cup was overflowing. He had collected more than he usually would in a whole week. He sat there, puzzled and deeply moved, wondering what magic words the young woman had written. The next morning, the young woman passed by again. The beggar recognized her footsteps. He reached out his hand and asked, "Young lady, what did you write on my sign?" It worked like a miracle. The woman smiled and said, "I wrote something very similar. Your sign said, 'I am blind. Please help.' My sign said, 'It is a beautiful day and I cannot see it.' Let's pause on that for a moment. It is a beautiful day and I cannot see it. What's the difference? Both signs state the same fact. The man is blind, but they do it in completely different ways. The first sign, I am blind, focuses on the problem. It's a direct, almost demanding statement of lack. It evokes pity, and pity often makes people uncomfortable. They give a little, and they move on quickly. The second sign, however, does something brilliant. It doesn't start with the problem. It starts with something everyone else can relate to. It is a beautiful day. And in that very moment of gratitude, the sign introduces the contrast. And I cannot see it. Suddenly, it's not just about pity for a blind man, it's about gratitude for one's own sight. It makes people appreciate what they have and, from that place of appreciation, feel genuine empathy for the man who is missing out on that simple, beautiful experience. It's no longer a transaction of pity. It becomes an act of shared humanity. The woman didn't change the man's situation. He was still blind, but she changed the way people saw his situation. She changed the mindset. This story is a powerful metaphor for our own lives. How often do we focus on what we lack? We say things like, I don't have enough money. I'm not talented enough. I don't have the right connections. Our internal sign is broadcasting our limitations to the world and, more importantly, to ourselves. And just like the beggar's first sign, this mindset often brings us just enough to get by, but it rarely leads to abundance or joy. We get stuck in a cycle of lack, focusing only on what's missing. What if we were to flip our own sign? What if, instead of focusing on what we don't have, we started by acknowledging the good that is already present? Instead of, I don't have enough money, what if we focused on, I am grateful for the resources I have, and I am open to creating more abundance? Instead of, I'm not talented, how about, I am learning and growing every day, and I have unique strengths to offer? This isn't about ignoring our problems or pretending they don't exist. The beggar was still blind. The challenges in our lives are real, but it's about shifting our focus. When we focus on gratitude and possibility, we change our own energy. We move from a state of desperation to a state of empowerment. And just like the people on the street, the world around us responds differently to that energy. Opportunities that were once invisible suddenly appear. People who might have passed us by are now drawn to our positive outlook. The marketing woman in the story used a technique that is fundamental to all successful communication. She framed the situation in a way that connected with her audience as emotions and values. We can be our own marketing expert for our own life. Think about an area in your life where you feel stuck. What does your sign say right now? Is it, I hate my job, I'm lonely, I'll never get healthy? Now, try to flip it. How can you reframe that statement to focus on gratitude and possibility? I hate my job could become I am grateful for my current job that pays my bills, while I explore new career paths that excite me. I am lonely could become I am learning to enjoy my own company and am open to building meaningful connections. When you feel empowered and hopeful, you're more likely to apply for that new job, to say yes to a social invitation, or to go for that walk. So, I ask you today, what will you write on your sign? What beautiful day are you a part of? And how can you frame your challenges, not as a dead end,